Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel, and it's time for me to review week number 4 of the key games from the previous week. And for the first matchup, which was number 21 Texas A&M and number 24 Miami, after a scoreless first quarter, Texas A&M pulls away at halftime, being up 13-7 after missing the extra point. Miami took that momentum and scored 2 touchdowns to lead 21-13 at the end of the third quarter. But the Aggies tried to muster up something, kicking 2 field goals to pull within 2, but the Hurricanes stepped up and held on for a 21-19 victory at Miami Stadium. For Texas A&M, their next opponent is Baylor in a Big 12 matchup that is basically going to be maybe a bounce-back game for A&M. Meanwhile, for Miami, their next opponent is Duke, in which I believe this is Miami's first conference game of the year. Yeah, this is going to be Miami's conference opener, so they got a clean sweep on their non-conference side. Let's see if they can carry that momentum into the conference play. Now, Tampa Bay and West Virginia. The Lightning has struck as the upset did happen. It was back and forth contest, each team matching each other in the first half, with it being tied 17 apiece at halftime. But Tampa Bay was able to get a field goal and a touchdown to lead it by 10 heading into the fourth quarter, and the Lightning put one more touchdown on the board, and then the Mountaineers started to make a comeback. They were able to score 2 touchdowns to cut it to a field goal deficit, but it was too late as West Virginia gets upset at home, losing 34-31. For the next week, West Virginia has USF for their, I believe it's their conference opener. Yeah, if you're wondering why I'm silent, yeah, for their conference opener. So 2-2 for West Virginia heading into their conference opener. Not the best records to have, but you know, it is what it is. And as for Tampa Bay, they're going against a 1-2 Houston team in Tampa Bay's second conference game as they opened up their conference play back in week 3 against Southern Miss, winning that one 37-13. And now for number 5 Ohio State being at home against Northwestern. Northwestern did the impossible. Though the Buckeyes were up 10-7 at halftime, the Buckeyes scored 2 touchdowns but missed an extra point on one of them to only have a 20-10 lead heading to the final quarter. Ohio State did score 2 field goals and were down by 4 with 5 minutes left, but somehow, someway, Northwestern held on for a 20-16 victory, which now has Northwestern being undefeated and Ohio State suffering their first loss of the year. For Northwestern, they got another tough game against number 12 Michigan. And for Ohio State, they may hope to bounce back against Minnesota. And speaking of Michigan, that matchup against Penn State came into Ann Arbor and tore down the Wolverines even more. Because, remember, Michigan got upset by Notre Dame last week, 35-32 at home. And now, Michigan was up 17-3 at the half, but the Nittany Lions scored 2 touchdowns to Michigan's 1 to make the deficit only 14, well, make it 24-17 at the end of the third quarter. In the fourth, Penn State put it to another level as they scored 22 points, pulled away, and won it after Michigan kicked a field goal by a final score of 39-27. And as, like I said, Michigan and Northwestern for week number 5, and Penn State's going against Illinois. So both teams having Big Ten matchups. And should be interesting to see how the Big Ten goes this season. You know? And for the last key game was Georgia and Alabama. And the Tide continues to get rolled. They were up 21-17 at the half, so basically it seems like a lot of chokes happened during key games. And the Bulldogs, they were up 21-17 at the half on the Bulldogs. Still had 28-23 heading into the fourth quarter, but Georgia scored 17 unanswered points, pulled away, and won 48-28, continuing for Georgia their winning ways, and Alabama continuing their losing ways. And for week number 5, Alabama is going against number 11 Florida State. Good luck with that, considering they're on a 3-game losing streak, and Florida's day 23 all through their games this season. And Georgia's going against Ole Miss, who are suffering very badly. After losing 225-0 to McNary Central, they then decided, okay, let's regroup ourselves and try again, and loses 51-10 to Florida. So yeah, giving up 306 points the past 2 games while scoring 10 yourself. Good luck, Ole Miss. You're gonna need it against a team that scored 40 last week, and the week before, well, the game before, and the week before dropped 38. So you're going against a team that's scored 78 points in the past 2 games, while you allowed 306. Fun times for the Rebels. But that's it for week 4. I'll go ahead and get started for week 5, and I will see you all next time.